Okay, buckle up now, because on this particular session, we are going to be talking about the dreams of the butler and the baker. And so, Joseph, this is all happening in Genesis chapter 40. You can read it for yourself, and I encourage you to read it, because the butler tells Joseph his dream, and he talks about different things, and the interpretation of the dream essentially is this, that Joseph says to the butler, in 3 days, the king's going to call you, and he's going to restore you back to the position of serving him. And the baker hears that the interpretation of the dream is positive, and it's a good outcome. So now he chooses to share his dream with Joseph also. But when Joseph hears the dream, his interpretation is different. And he says, here's the interpretation of your dream. In 3 days, Pharaoh's going to call you back, and he's going to cut off your head, and he's going to hang your head in a tree, and this is not going to be a good ending for you. So obviously, one of them was ecstatic about the outcome because he was going to get restored back to his position. The other one, obviously, this is a devastating blow of a life sentence that's going to happen to him. But of course, you know, this is one man talking to another man. And I can tell you this is what the interpretation of the dream is, and you can say, well, that's what your God said to you, but I don't believe in your God, and so I don't believe in your interpretation. And so you can still have some hope. Whether you believe it's a good outcome or it's not a good outcome, you can choose to respond to the interpretation however you want. And of course, that would have been either, the one guy would have said, you know, I like that interpretation, may it come to pass. The other guy might have said, hey, I don't like your interpretation, I don't think I'll take that. It doesn't matter. The end result of it is that in 3 days, the butler was called and the baker. And so now it came to pass, verse 20, that it now came to pass on the 3rd day, which was Pharaoh's birthday, that he made a feast for all of his servants. On his birthday, he made a feast for his servants. I just want you to see a major event takes place, major activities are happening, and so at this feasting, he lifted up the head of the chief butler and of the chief baker among his servants. Then he restored the chief butler to his butlership again. In other words, this is the guy in public, in view of everybody all the time. This is the guy that if the Pharaoh has got visitors, if he's got his wife in, whatever, this is the guy that's got a high profile. He's around Pharaoh all the time. He restored him. He lifted up the head of the chief butler and of the chief baker among his servants. Then he restored the chief butler to his butlership again. And he placed the cup in Pharaoh's hand. But he hanged the chief baker, as Joseph had interpreted to him. Yet the chief butler did not remember Joseph, but forgot him. Now, what Joseph did when he interpreted these dreams, he said to the butler, when you get before Pharaoh, remind him that I was the one who interpreted the dreams, and that I am the one that can interpret the dreams, and that I have accurately interpreted your dream. And so, again, Joseph has a lifetime dream. He has seen that he has this grand purpose and this grand level of position that God has given him. And still, even after he's able to hear from God to interpret other people's dreams, essentially, if it was you and I, I'd say, yo, now I'm connected. I'm friends with the guy that's got the ear of the man that can fix everything for me. This connection, I mean, a lot of people in our modern day world would say, I've connected with the right finance guy, I've connected with the right relationship, I've got all the things in place. It's just one last step I've got to go, just one last thing. Don't forget me, because that's the thing that's going to change me. All this time, Joseph never forgot that his hands was in the hands of God, not in the hands of men. And if you and I can really keep reminding ourselves each day, thank you, Lord, that you give me the dreams, that it's your dreams, and that you will see to it that these dreams you have placed in my hands and in my life, that you will make them come to pass. Regardless of whether people forget me, regardless of what circumstances seem to have been to my advantage, at last, and then they don't, nothing happens, I'm going to keep believing and trusting in you. Let's see what happens to Joseph the next time we get together.